Hi, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. Today, I have Lauren Tabor back with me to talk about Horary Astrology. And welcome, Lauren.
Hi there, Andrea.
How you doing?
Good. How are you? Good.
I'm doing good, doing good. Um, about a couple months ago, Lauren asked me if I would do an horary chart for her. And horary astrology is a type of astrology you do to find things, to answer questions. And so at the birth of a question, and the time that I understand the question is when I create a chart. And Lauren's question to me is where on her property are her car keys that she could not find? And so we went back and forth a little bit till I was really clear on her question. And then when I was clear, I created that chart and studied it ahead of time, which it takes a good amount of concentration on the chart in order to answer those questions. But we set up an appointment and I gave we discussed the details that were included in the chart, and ultimately it led Lauren to find her keys. So Lauren, can you tell us what those details were that you remember
Sure.
about the
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you said they would be on the north side of the house. First of all, you said I would find them. And you could see that in the chart, that I would find them, but that it would take some work. And they would be on the north side of the house, northwest, north side of the house, and they would be up high. And that the keys had fallen down behind something. And they were in something and they had fallen into something. And so I started looking in depth, and I just went and looked.
I remember one of the things about the chart was that there was something to do with a friend involved.
Oh, that's right.
And also there was something about domestic, it had to do with domestic crafts or something of that sort, something to do with something you were involved with that was very domestic. Do you remember that piece?
I do, because I was surprised you asked me now about my day. Tell me about your day and what you were doing, before you lost your keys and so I told you what I had been doing, and it concerned a craft that I do. And you said that would be very important, that my friend that I'd visited and my knitting and my quilting would be important, and also that my husband would have some sort of role in all of this. And I couldn't imagine what any of that meant or how it would fit together.
You were making masks, right?
What?
You were making masks.
Yes. That's why I went to see my friend, because I was making masks and she was going to give me some fabric so I could make some for her. And I brought them home and I put them with my keys. I went straight into my craft room on the second floor of the house, which is up high. And it's also on the north side of the house, which I wasn't thinking about. And I had pulled out a drawer of fabric, and the keys fell down into the drawer and at the bottom of the fabric. Somehow they got tucked into the bottom.
So
I had no idea that had happened.
They were deep, hidden deep.
They were deep and behind. They were behind something. They had fallen off the ledge into the fabric, and they were hidden down at the very bottom of the drawer. But the drawer is a wire basket. And the only reason I found them was because by messing around in there, I disturbed them, and the little part of the keychain stuck down below the bottom of the basket, and I couldn't shut it. The basket wouldn't let me shut it. And so I pulled it out to see why I couldn't shut it. And I looked on the bottom of it, and there was the key fob hanging down, just waiting for me to find it. This is the most amazing thing. I have goosebumps now just thinking about it.
Well, it's interesting because in the chart, I remember talking about this with you in your reading, is that Neptune was on the IC at the very lowest part of the chart. And Neptune is about the deep and the hidden, the unseen, and being right on the cusp of your fourth house, which is, it's somewhere in your house, and it was trining the moon. So I'm saying to myself, she's going to find these. They're deeply buried, and there was a lot of energy in the second house around money. So I remember you saying,
That's why I even started looking, because my husband discovered that it would cost over $350 to replace one of the key fobs for our cars. And so I was thinking about that. And then I realized I hadn't told him exactly that I also had one of the keys to his car on that key fob too. So it would have been $700 to replace that.
wow.
And I thought, oh, well, yes, I've looked before, but I need to really go back and look again. And that's when I thought of you and Horary, and it worked out. You saved us $700.
Well, Lauren contacted me a couple days after and said, I found the keys, and she took a video and showed me where they were in the basket, where they had, and because I remember looking at the chart, and I was having a vision in my head of like deep down in something, but there was also, in the seventh house of the chart was Mercury retrograde in Cancer right next to the sun. So I'm saying your husband's got to be involved in this in some way, but also that the sun and Mercury conjunct each other, we're trining the moon. So I'm saying to myself, I think that there's a nice conversation going on here. So there's going to be a good result. There's going to be a good end result. And that was also indicated by the cusp of the fourth house. So I was so happy when you called me. Found my keys, and they were exactly where the chart indicated. So
that's right.
Exciting.
It was just amazing. That my husband played a role, my friend played a role, my crafts played a role. They were on the northwest side of the house. They were up high. I mean, it all fit together. And I couldn't imagine when you first told me all those things. I thought, I can't imagine, where they would be. And I never would have looked back in that basket of fabric again, had it not been that I knew that if I just kept working at it, I would find them somewhere. So I went back over where I had already looked. There they were.
Wow.
And they hadn't really, I feel like they revealed themselves to me after I messed around with the drawer, and they fell down, because the first time I looked, the drawer opened and shut. When I went to find them this time, the drawer opened fine, but it wouldn't shut because they were dropped down.
And I remember also, I was taught this a long time ago, the St. Anthony prayer of
yes, you told me that.
And I remember that we, I recommended that you say that, and because I know that every time that I lose something and I say that prayer, I always find it. But I know ultimately the chart too, that's having faith and, looking into an Horary, doing an Horary chart is a very, very powerful tool.
It really is. It really is. I didn't have any idea how powerful, actually. But I do now.
Yeah.
I'm waiting to lose something so I can call you again.
Oh, you're funny. Well, thank you for sharing that story. And I know how powerful. I've done it for many clients in the past. And actually, one client lost a firearm in a building. And the chart revealed exactly where it would be found. There's a long story behind that, but this is, I'm so happy. I knew it would take a little effort because we had some pretty strong squares between Mars, Chiron, and the Sun and Mercury. So I knew it would take some effort. That's why I said, you're gonna because that's cardinal energy, and cardinal is about action. And when I see squares, I know, well, this is going to be a little bit of a challenge. But when I looked at Neptune trining the moon and the sun and Mercury trining the moon, I'm going, you're going to find, I knew the answer was yes, you'd find them.
Phew, I'm really glad that I did.
I am
That's
too.
for sure.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your story. And everyone, thanks for tuning in. And we'll see you again. Remember, turn to the stars and you'll find your answers there. Take good
You
care.
will.
Thank you.